Hey, it's Woody, and this is Mail Monday, a weekly series that, thankfully, is not about the gameplay and instead is about your questions and my answers to them. Let's do this. This was never answered on Mail Monday before. Hey Woody, I'm a 12-year-old Canadian and I'm seriously depressed. Canada's not so bad. Just jokes. Now I know people are going through worse situations, but I still feel like shit. My parents hate me, my dad's cheating, I'm failing school, I don't have anyone I can actually call a best friend, and I'm sure you get the picture. You've answered questions like this before, but not the answer I'm looking for. I'm not suicidal, but I don't know, I just hate myself. My parents are Asian, so they aren't the supportive, typical American Canadian parent you imagine. They aren't like you, they're not understanding. They have high expectations of me, and I honestly feel like I will reach them. Any response is okay, I'm your biggest fan, and fuck Kyle. You know, I've read through this letter a couple of times now, and it's interesting the impact that it has. Like, each time I read it through, like, the first thing, I'm like, my dad is cheating. Like, oh my gosh, is that the core of this? He's failing school. Oh my gosh, you know, is that the core of what we have going on here? You know, his parents have, at the risk of generalizing, what I'll call an Asian parenting style, right? Which is that they're not there to be your friend. They're more there to be your coach. They're more there to drive you to be the best you that you can be, instead of, you know, like that sensitive, soft, kind of, you know, squishy type of parent. And, you know, I'm not judging. Look, there's a lot of awesome Asian people. It can't be so bad. But, you know, when I wrapped it all up into one, like, parents hate me, dad cheating, not doing well in school, don't have anyone I can call a best friend, parents are not, you know, emotionally supportive. It's there was another letter in Mail Monday that kind of didn't make the cut, and he was asking, like, does it even matter if I have any friends? Is it okay if I just sit here alone and be me? And, you know, well, if that works for you, okay. But the real reason for all these relationships is that's where happiness comes from. That's the point of this whole thing. You know, it's not money, right? Money doesn't buy happiness. I know. There's so many fun things you can do when you have it. But the real secret to wealth, the emotional wealth, I should say, is having solid relationships with the people that are near you. Like, that's where the joy comes from. That's where, like, you know, life's true meaning comes from. And that's the core area where it's not going well for you. You know, I honestly think that if you had a support system, someone there that would, you know, make you feel better, make, you know, drive you to be the best you that you can be, that added a little bit of I don't know, emotional well-being to your package, then you'd be a happier guy. And that's what's going wrong here. You know, what's going wrong is that you're taking on the entire world by yourself, and that's a nightmare situation. Nobody wants that. So yeah, that you know, where do we go from here? We need you to step up and start building your network so that you can be a happier guy, and that's where that's where this is going wrong. Part of that, you need to pull your grades up, right? They impact your future, and you don't want to have, you know, you don't want to have that impacted in a negative way. But you also need to make some friends. You need to get out a little bit more, and you need to find some happiness. You can be that super you, right? That you just need to begin your journey, right? You need to pick it up right now and talk to somebody at school. You need to pick it up right now and do your homework, or whatever it is that's causing you to fail school. You pick it up right now and start achieving. And it sounds simple to say, right? Like, God, just to start achieving. But no, you know, it really does just begin with the first step. These things are all right within your grasp. It's not a complicated process to just start studying and talk to people, right? There are other guys out there who are available to make friends with that you can just smile with, and they'll say, you know what? This guy's pretty cool. That can be you. And, you know, all you need to do is just take that first step and then that next step. And, you know, it's a simple process, making friends and getting better grades. All you need to do is tell yourself to do it and get into gear, and it happens. Teenaged father. Hey Woody, I'm 16 years old and I found out 2 weeks ago that I'm going to be a father. Since then, I've told my parents and they're having trouble accepting it, and they make it seem like they don't like this situation at all. They say they'll always love and support me, but all they do is yell and argue with me all the time. I'm wondering, how can I help them with adjusting to it? Or what can I do to have a good future? Should I get an education beyond high school? Should I work right out of high school and get an education later? Any help would be great. Love your videos. Don't stop making them. You know, it's hard to read too much into text, but we do have a good 5 exclamation points here, and I don't think that the gravity of being a parent has quite sunk in yet. You know this lasts for the rest of your life, right? You know maybe your parents are unhappy about this because they recognize it as a burden that you've placed on them because, you know, I want to say you're not ready to parent yet. Like, what can you do? What are you providing here? Your wisdom? You providing your, you know, your companionship? You teaching the little guy how to go? Teaching the little girl how to be a girl? Not yet. Not yet. You're 16. Are you going to buy diapers? You going to feed this kid? You going to do these things? No. You're a kid yourself. And you're pretty young to be having kids. And that's what I think your parents are fixated on. You know, how can you help them accept it? Well, shucks, you know, I guess it's time to start acting like a grown-up. That probably means getting a job, providing some of the necessities for this kid, and starting to understand that you no longer live a carefree life of leisure where your biggest concern is, you know, getting a C on some math quiz. Now you're feeding somebody. Now you're raising somebody and coaching them into being the super them. That's your gig. And, you know, if you want your parents to feel better about this, step up, get a job. That's one of your first things. Do I think you should go to school right after high school? Yeah. I think you need to go to night school. I think you need to work day and night because that's the situation that you're in now. And, you know, it's nothing that I haven't done myself. I went to night school, worked all day, went to school all night, studied all weekend. That's your new gig, dude. You know, welcome to that. If you want to be a winner, this is where you are. And, you know, life's not over. You know, your life is just beginning. You're 16 years old. But you are on the fast track on this thing towards responsibility and adulthood. And that means that you need to be on the fast track towards this responsibility and adulthood. For real. You know, I'm talking about providing for the kid, being there for, you know, the mom, you know, that sort of thing. You know, the relationship with the mom is going to be so important because this is a lifelong thing, right? You don't have a kid until you break up with her. You've got a kid forever. That's what you signed up for. That's what you signed up for when you made a baby. You know, like we know how this happens, and you know, these things become obvious to everybody else around you. It's funny, like in my little, you know, circle of influence in the world, I you know, you see people have babies that they didn't plan for, and you also see, like in my world, like I see people lose a lot of money. And it's like, man, you know, this is obvious to everybody but the person in the middle of the situation. And let me give you this. Let me just lay it down. Sex causes babies. Drugs cause poverty. Happens every time. Every time. Somebody gets some money in their pocket. They spend it on drugs. They won't have that money anymore. Somebody gets a girl that likes them. Yeah, they have unprotected sex. Now they have a baby. It's predictable to everybody but the person in the middle of that situation. So, you need to step up. You need to be a parent. And you're going to find that it's a 24/7 responsibility. When you do that, your parents will feel better about your position.